Hello good people of YouTube, Slava Ukraini. This is my weekly review, although I clearly haven't been doing it that often. And I've actually deleted all of the past videos because I was just kind of unhappy with how they were. So I am going to attempt to make these better. And part of that attempt is also changing the format a little bit. This time around, I'm just going to do it. But hopefully in time I'll actually learn how to use the editing software and put that effort into it. So the change in the format is, instead of focusing on the trades that I did and walking through those, I'm still going to do a little bit of that, but I'm going to put it at the end and just edit it into the end. And instead, I think most of the people just kind of want other people to forecast the future, right? So I'm just going to do a little synopsis, or just a little forecasting into what I'm looking for in the coming week. So this coming week, I'm pretty decidedly bearish. I think it's just hard to see it as anything other than that. I can see, however, there being some change in fundamentals. Obviously, OPEC is going to be having this short meeting tomorrow. Maybe it won't end up being short, maybe it'll be a little bit longer, but they've kind of talked around and made mention of actually doing some sort of cut in production, because they say that, people are speculating too much, and the physical market has a disconnect with the futures market and the rest of the market. So we'll see if they actually do something tomorrow and if that makes a big difference. I think the other thing that kind of casts a shadow on me being really bearish is the fact that the sell-off could just be because Labor Day is tomorrow. So there usually is somewhat of a sell-off. So it could just turn around from there. And then also, September tends to be when people say that the liquidity comes back into the market, the traders come back to their desks from their vacations, and so things can turn around in that regard. But in terms of looking at the charts for now, unless I see something different in the charts, to me this is still saying that everything is pretty freaking bearish. So I am going to be looking at selling probably into any sort of bullish or up move. So we'll see. Yeah, I guess we'll see. But here's where I'm bearish in terms of the charts. So we had this little bull or up channel that started to happen, and we ended up below it, and we ended up also in this area where it is just a kind of a mess of different lows and bottoms, versus the highs are actually making lower highs, and it's pretty obvious that it's making lower highs. And so this to me indicates that it's not particularly strong of a support, but might end up being so, who knows. But still, the fact that it ended up below this little up channel. Also, I've started to integrate the current 1 day daily chart as well. And so this black line here is to 200 SMA, and it's already below that. It ended below that. It tested the low from last week as well. And the fact that it just could not push up, there was a falling wedge, and it could not push up from that at all. So it just kind of kept selling and kept selling and kept selling, which makes me feel that it's just pretty freaking bearish. And in addition, going into the 1 day chart, on the continuous chart, it came up to the 200 SMA, tested it at the beginning of the week, and just sold off from there. Before, in some other examples, when it's when the context is more bullish, there's obviously, I think, a lot of fear and a lot of attention that's put on the 200 SMA on the daily chart, on the continuous chart. And usually there's a lot more testing, there's a lot more play. And the range tends to get squeezed, it tends to range a lot, but here it came up and pretty decisively just sold off. So that's the other thing that I'm looking at, where I'm just like, nobody cared that line was there, and it just kind of sold off. So in addition to the fact that we're already in a down move and we're creating this lower high, and this kind of support here, I don't think is going to be that crucial. I think tomorrow, just because of the OPEC news, well, tomorrow and Tuesday potentially, because of the OPEC news and because of this kind of head and shoulders here, we might get a little bit of a push up. But if it pushes into the 50 SMA on the 4-hour continuous chart or on the current contract, I think that's a great selling opportunity, probably. So I think it's going to be tough to get out of this one at this point. At least that's how I'm feeling. But I don't do I don't hold for that long. I only hold for a few hours. I'm very intraday, not interday. Yeah, I'm not very interday. So yeah, I'm not, it's not hard and fast that I'm definitely going to always be shorting this week or anything like that. But I do think that it's probably going to test down and test below. Now, the 150 extension to the downside of the weekly range from last week is down here. We may or may not test that. I don't know if it's going to move that far. That's about $6, which isn't really that great of a range anymore. It could easily hit that if it wanted to. But I'm not that bearish. I'm not sitting there thinking that it's definitely going to break down completely like that. I just don't think it's going to be able to really get above probably this like 92, 93 area. So we'll see. It might. I'm going to switch around my strategies and do something totally different in that case. But for now, what I'm seeing is that it's pretty bearish. And with this support here, if it starts breaking down, a lot of people bought in this area, clearly. They're probably still holding on, and there's probably people who are going to try to push this up a little bit in the beginning of the week, but I think we possibly could get a good breakdown. If however, I think the scenario that, aside from getting above that like 92, 93 area, which would probably null my bearishness, the other thing that would null my bearishness is if it kind of came down to this like 84 area and squeezed in a way that doesn't seem like there's going to be a sell-off. So to me, it looks like there's more buying that's happening. If it starts showing support in this area, I'm probably going to think that it's not going to have the sell-off. But I also don't necessarily think that it's going to have a pretty big bullish move up. It's just kind of going to sit in that area and accumulate more trades and just be another battleground. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But if it is as bearish as I think that it is right now, not this week necessarily. I doubt it, actually, because that would be almost a 200% extension on the weekly, which seems a little far-fetched unless there's like some serious news. But this is kind of the area, this 75-30-ish area. This is where I would think it actually comes and tests down to, which is in this area with this chart, with the current contract. It's not that significant of an area, but on the continuous chart, we're back into this support area here where it definitely did have some moves right in here. So, and kind of like above this area. So it does coincide with what I would say is could be another contentious kind of battleground area. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm not going to be surprised either way, but for now I'm just thinking bearish moves, which doesn't mean I'm not going to go long, but I do think that it's probably going to test down and probably break below this channel. Although I can see it not, but nonetheless, it seems pretty bearish to me. So we'll see what happens. Good luck to everybody in their trading. I don't know if this is helpful. I just like to talk things out. So thank you for listening and have a wonderful week. All right, bye.